Hi, Zach. Hi, Sean. Nice to see you
Hey,
again.
yeah, how's it
Nice to
going?
see you. How's it going?
Let's get going. I mean, I wanted to start by saying the film is incredible and it's made me cry so much, and I'm going to watch it again and again and again. Let's get into the questions. So, obviously, the Von Erich story is one of great tragedy, yet despite this, we see Kevin's as one of great survival and strength. So, Zach, how closely did you work with Kevin on developing the character, and what information did you want to extract from him?
I worked very closely with Sean on the process. I didn't work so much with Kevin himself on the development of the character. It's pretty sensitive subject material, and I wanted to respect him and also respect the filmmaking process, I think. So that's something I relied very heavily on Sean for, and he was the man for the job.
And Sean, I read that this was a passion project for you. Where and when did you decide to start developing the film, and how did you choose which of the brothers' stories to focus on?
Yeah, I started in 2015, started working on it, but it's something that I've been thinking about since I was a kid. I was a fan of theirs as a kid and loved wrestling, and their story just always stayed with me, and I felt quite connected to it. And so when I started thinking about it as a film, it was such a big epic story that I wanted to. It took a long time to chip away at it and find the core, but yeah, Kevin's survival really became the core of the story. And yeah, he was sort of the light, like that sort of guided it through. I mean, like how he is now, the way he talks about his survival, and he's so honest about what he went through. And that was the thing I kept coming back to, and yeah, really made that the center.
I wanted to ask you both. So, Sean, you've referred to the extreme misguided masculinity on display in the Iron Claw. How important is it for you both to amplify these stories and open more of a dialogue around male mental health?
Yeah, it's really important for me. It's something that I felt my whole life, and didn't there wasn't language around it. Didn't necessarily know how to articulate it, but just sort of saw these old trends in older generations that felt sort of wrong to me. And so it's always been an interest. And also, seeing how it can, it can both be terrible when it's, acted upon by men, but also to the men who have been
Right,
affected by it.
right.
And that's really interesting to me to look at that and call
It's
attention.
also fascinating, yeah, because there's not really language around it at this point. It's how it sneaks up on you, and in the case of the Von Erichs, it's just such a brilliant example of how it kind of works its way into successful careers and strong families and things like that. It really is a fascinating look.
And aside from obviously the family drama element of it, the wrestling scenes, can we talk about those, Zach? So they must have required some extensive choreography. Did your dance experience help with this at all, or was it a case of learning an entirely new skill?
No, dancing helps for sure. It definitely helps. um there's no way to get into wrestling other than just to start. And we all the guys, we committed from the very first day, from the first lesson. And we just showed up, we dropped our egos at the door and just started to listen. And we had a great coach in Chavo Guerrero. And yeah, I mean, it was hard. Wrestling's no joke, man. That it beats you up. It's a hell of a sport. I've got a ton of respect for it, and it's one of the most fun things I've been able to learn in several years to apply to a film. So it's just, yeah, it pulls on every creative and physical part of your being. It's really fun.
I mean, it certainly paid off. um, and Sean, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the soundtrack, because the score and the soundtrack I felt really amplify the film. How did you go about curating it? Did you get any input from Kevin on music that sort of soundtracked the brothers' lives?
No, when I write, I build a soundtrack. Um, so I have this over the years of writing, I sort of collect songs and I'll listen to it when I'm writing to just sort of get the right vibe and headspace. And so, like Don't Fear the Reaper and Tom Sawyer and some Tom Petty and things like that were all, a part of that. So it was like finding that right sort of area where it's like period correct, but also just the right joyous vibe, and really using that also as the base for score and for the original song. We wanted the original song that connected to that world. But it came out like of Tom Sawyer was the song that they actually came out to, the brothers. So that was like an easy, like base to come out of. And then in terms of the score, we wanted, some of it, we wanted to sort of rock-based score on one side for the brothers, but we also wanted this very like heavy classical score for Fritz and for the curse, and so we wanted to merge those things and connect the score to the original song as well, which we did.
Incredible. And yeah, the original song is just like, it's on every playlist I have. And lastly, I just wanted to ask Zac, the bond we see between you and Jeremy and Harris and Stanley on screen is it's beautiful. How did you go about forming that?
Yeah, a lot of it came really naturally. Those are fantastic guys. I mean, I consider them brothers at this point. So, not that much work really went into that. I think it was, the nature of the story and the way that Sean set up the filming process. We got to know each other really well before we got started, and you can tell that all these actors really deeply cared about this story. So, I mean, if you got committed, hardworking, smart, cool guys around you, your chemistry is off the charts. So I love those guys.
Oh, incredible. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for making such a fantastic film. Like, I honestly absolutely adore it.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey, you guys.
Hey you guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey you guys.
Hey, you guys.